Manchester United 2, Everton 0. 3 points in the lunchtime kickoff at Old Trafford today. And I tell you what, I have very few gripes about that performance. Honestly, I thought we were excellent. I really did. I think that's one of the most complete performances we've seen from Manchester United in a while. Not to say that we should get overly hyped up or overly gassed or anything like that, because it is a team fighting relegation at home. It's a game we should be winning, and we should be winning convincingly, because you feel like any team worth their salt, particularly in the race for the top four, they'd have beaten that Everton side today at home. I thought they were particularly poor, and again, my only very few complaints about the performance today is maybe just not being clinical enough. You know, the game was 2-0, but in reality, and I'm not over-exaggerating when I say that could have been 5 or 6-0 to Manchester United, and the majority of those goals could have and should have been scored in the first half. It's not like they were speculative efforts. It's not like they were half chances. We had full-blown one-on-one chances, in some cases, in Aaron Wan-Bissaka's case, essentially an open goal, and we didn't put the ball away. And when we got to half-time, with just at 1-0 up, you did kind of feel, wow, you know, Everton are still in this game, and despite them playing really poorly, I'm sure Sean Dyche would have said to his players at halftime, we're still in it. You know, we're only a goal behind. We can get back into this one. And there was a bit of nerves, and we did start the second half a little bit slowly, but Anthony Martial puts that to bed, and it's a game that Manchester United absolutely deserved to win, and we did what we needed to do. We got the job done, and we are building momentum. And some people I saw after we lost to Newcastle last weekend, and Erik ten Hag said, we'll bounce back, you'll see a reaction from this. And some people almost had the nerve to speculate that on that and say, oh, see a reaction. You still haven't seen a reaction from the Liverpool defeat. But what we've seen this week is a reaction. Beat Brentford at home, which is not easy to do. Brentford are playing very well this season. They're not as good away from home as they are at home, but still they've beaten big sides away from home, i.e. Manchester City. Got a 1-0 victory when we weren't really at our best that day, and we get a victory against Everton today. And you can only play who's in front of you, you can only beat who's in front of you, and we did just that. I thought that is probably the most fluid the front three is, or sort of from an attacking point of view, that we've looked in quite a long time. Weghorst didn't start, so because of that, we saw a front three of Rashford through the middle, Sancho on the left, and Antony on the right hand side. Bruno Fernandes started off in a much deeper position. He was a sort of 8, sort of an 8 or even a 6 at times, and I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. And I think today, and again, I know it's Everton at Old Trafford, and I understand that it's a lesser team that's fighting for their lives against relegation, but Bruno Fernandes, in particular in that first half, he absolutely ran the show. He was dictating play, he was spraying balls all over the pitch. I mean, the game plan was fairly rudimentary as well. Erik ten Hag had clearly seen that Everton were vulnerable with just a simple ball over the top, and we had pace up front. We had Antony, we had Rashford, we had Sancho. So that ball over the top, Everton, for whatever reason, were playing. It wasn't even necessarily a high line, but they just weren't pushing up enough, and it was easy. It was easy for someone with a range of pass like Bruno Fernandes just to keep dinking the ball over the top, keep switching the play, keep finding Jadon Sancho, finding Antony. Antony had a couple of big chances, or finding Marcus Rashford with a simple ball over the top, and we were just picking them off every single time. And again, we should have scored because of that. Bruno Fernandes is unfortunate not to get at least a couple of assists, one would think, today. So I thought he was absolutely excellent. Scott McTominay came in for a lot of criticism last weekend, justifiably so. He played better in the week against Brentford, and he played one of his best games for Manchester United in a while today. I thought he was robust. I thought he put proper challenges in. I thought he was unfortunate not to have a couple of people booked because of tackles that were made on him. How the referee did not give out really any yellow cards today, I think, is somewhat baffling, honestly. But I thought he played very well. Marcel Sabitzer, when I spoke to KG on Wednesday, he said that he felt that was Sabitzer's best game in a Manchester United shirt, and I tended to agree with him, honestly. I think he's topped himself today. I think he was even better today, and we are seeing that. Actually, you know what? Sabitzer, the further forward he gets, he can have a much greater influence on the game, and maybe it is a situation where Bruno drops a little bit deeper and Sabitzer goes a little bit forward because he's a bit more, industrial, shall we say. He can put a bit more. He's got maybe a bit more bite to him. Maybe that's not a fair comparison, but I think he looked more effective the further forward that he was as well. Jadon Sancho started off the left-hand side, and I think that I give credit to Cam because he's been saying this quite a bit recently, talking about Anthony and Jadon Sancho, suggesting that when you've got those kind of players which aren't, they do have pace, but they're more technical wingers, they're more inside forwards. When you do have a game like today, where you're dominating the possession, you're dominating the ball, and teams can play somewhat of a low block at times, and it can get quite compact. Those kind of wingers can make the difference. And we saw that with Jadon Sancho, with the little reverse passes, the cute pass for McTominay's goal. I thought he was excellent today, and I do think he's sort of growing into this Ten Hag system. I think the issues that we have on the left and right-hand side with Sancho and Anthony is that, as Cam mentions, it's great when you've got a game that you're going to dominate the ball and they're going to have a fairly low block and it's going to be compact, but that's not every game for us. If it's Arsenal or Manchester City, they know 9 times out of 10 their opponent's going to get behind the ball and try and make it difficult for them. Manchester United, that's not necessarily the case right now, so you don't always see that consistency from those kind of players. Not that it's an excuse, because they should adapt to the game, but they don't. But I thought Sancho, once again, played very well today. I thought Anthony was also unfortunate to come off. I thought he played very well too. The real, the sour point, if you will, from this game is the injury to Marcus Rashford. As of right now, at the time that I'm recording this, Ten Hag says we don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it doesn't look good. I think given the fact that it's clearly a groin injury, I think that might mean that it's unlikely that Rashford plays against Sevilla, which obviously, look, he's our top goal scorer this season. He's been in excellent form. Marcus Rashford not playing is a huge miss. It's a massive miss. And here's hoping that it's just not super serious and that he doesn't miss a ton of games. Fortunately for us, we do have people returning. Casemiro will be back on Thursday. Christian Eriksen gets back onto the pitch today, and I've waxed lyrical about Christian Eriksen so much, and I was doing it earlier on this season, but I don't think we've really truly realised just how much we've missed him, because we focus more on Casemiro and his influence, and if Casemiro isn't playing, we don't win the game, which is true most of the time. Not true today, but it's true quite often this season. But you just see it when Eriksen comes on. The guy, he just oozes class, and it's just difficult passes, or passes that to certain people might be difficult. For Christian Eriksen, it's not difficult at all. They're simple. Just the little touches and reverse passes and switching of the play. My word, we've missed him, and we've missed someone of that ability and that ilk. So to have him back is so important. Anthony Martial does what he has done this season when he's played and when he's been available, and that's score or get involved in a goal. Anthony Martial's minutes per goal contribution is absolutely outstanding. Because near enough, every time he gets on the pitch, he'll score or get an assist, or he'll be involved in the build-up to a goal. And it's no surprise that in a game where we were talking about not having composure, not having clinical finishing, Martial comes on and scores. It's just the classic what if with him, isn't it? Is imagine he was fit the whole time. And I still don't think he'll play 90 minutes this season, but it's important that he gets back on the score sheet. And who knows, because of Rashford's not being available on Thursday, most likely, maybe Martial does start. Doesn't play the full game, but maybe he does start there. So, job done. And now we focus, obviously, on Thursday. It was really important to get the 3 points too, because our rivals for the Champions League positions, they've got big games this weekend. Of course, you've got Newcastle going away to Brentford. You've got Brighton and Spurs facing each other. You've got Liverpool facing Arsenal. So you would think some of the teams are going to drop points, certainly. So that's why it's important that we take care of our own business, which we have done, and now we move on to Thursday. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Peace.